Count 3 of the indictment, the murder in the first degree of Gina Montalto.
Please raise your right hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to make will be the truth?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. You put your hand down.
The 14-year-old alleged shooter in Wednesday's deadly attack at a high school in Georgia and his father both make their initial court appearances in separate hearings.
Starting with our case from Margate, Florida, where a ruthless killer is facing the consequences of his actions. This is Nikolas Cruz, born on September 24th, 1998 in Margate, Florida, who was adopted at birth by Linda and Roger Cruz, unaware of the pain that he would cause 19 years later. On February 14, 2018, Cruz opened fire on the helpless students and staff at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in the Miami metropolitan area city of Parkland, Florida. The gut-wrenching incident, which later became known as the deadliest mass shooting at a high school in U.S. history, resulted in the deaths of 17 people. Cruz later fled the scene on foot by blending in with the other students and headed straight to a Walmart subway, where he enjoyed a drink before getting arrested 40 minutes later. During the trial, Cruz's defense team argued that he was born with a neurodevelopmental disorder due to fetal alcohol syndrome, hoping to gain sympathy. However, in a shocking turn of events, experts testified that Cruz likely faked psychiatric symptoms after the shooting.
May I take off my mask?
Sure.
I am very sorry for what I did, and I have to live with it every day. And that if I were to get a second chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others. And I am doing this for you, and I do not care if you do not believe me. And I love you, and I know you don't believe me, but I have to live with this every day. And it brings me nightmares, and I can't live with myself sometimes, but I try to push through because I know that's what you guys would want me to do. I hate drugs, and I believe this country would do better if everyone would stop smoking marijuana and doing all these drugs and causing racism and violence out in the streets. I'm sorry, and I can't even watch TV anymore. And I'm trying my best to maintain my composure, and I just want you to know I'm really sorry. And I hope you give me a chance to try to help others. If I believe it's your decision to decide where I go and whether I live or die. Not the jury's. I believe it's your decision. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so his presentation, why, and there's a history of him with a swastika on the book bag, with a FN word. There's searches prior to this crime on the internet related to a range of things related to a swastika. And in the course of my interview, although the swastika was on the magazine and the boot at the time, he killed 17 people. He said it was there for the intent of peace. And so sometimes that just doesn't sort of seem, in my opinion, consistent with what the record showed.
Okay.
As survivor Anthony Borges recounted the harrowing details of that fateful day, Cruz was seen plugging his ears, trying to block out the gruesome details of his crimes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead and be seated.
How many times you were shot?
At that time, I didn't know. I just felt like one shot,
Right.
but I got 5 times. So
Pardon?
5 times,
5 times?
yes.
Where were you shot?
And my leg, my other leg, and the back, and over
Alright.
here in the RPing.
All right. Can you show it to us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Thank you.
As one of the victims, a school teacher makes a statement. Cruz can be seen sitting in the chair, emotionless.
Horror at the memories of what you left behind in your wake
and the guilt that I am left with because I wish I could have done more to save my coworkers and my students who you killed. Why should I bear any burden from what you created? I look at the world differently now, with very little trust in a defensive mindset.
The same indifference is evident as Cruz calmly removes his mask after a victim, Jamie Gutenberg's mother, rebuked him for hiding his facial expressions during the court proceedings.
You shouldn't be sitting there with a mask on your face. It's disrespectful to be hiding your expressions under your mask when we as the families are sitting here talking to you. Lowered down in your seat, hunched over, trying to make yourself look innocent when you're not. Because you admitted what you did and everybody knows what you did.
The teen offender, convicted of killing 17 people, was finally sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole on November 2nd, 2022. The judge can be seen trying to hold back tears as she read the verdict.
Count 1 of the indictment, the murder in the first degree of Luke Hoyer. The court imposes a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 2 of the indictment, the murder in the first degree of Martin, Duque, and Quiano. The court imposes a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. Count 3 of the indictment, the murder in the first degree of Gina Montalto. The court imposes a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. Count 4 of the indictment, the murder in the first degree of Alexander Schachter. The court imposes a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Despite the high emotions in the courtroom, Cruz showed little to no reaction as he was escorted out of the room.
He's remanded to the custody of the Department of Corrections. And he's to be given credit in the amount of 1,718 days time served.
Nikolas Cruz is currently incarcerated at the Florida State Prison. Our next case takes us to Michigan, where a 15-year-old student was so consumed by revenge that he decided to open fire on a crowd of helpless students. This is Ethan Crumbley, responsible for the tragic shooting at Oxford High School in Michigan, a case that captured global attention. When Ethan was born, neither of his parents knew of the horrific crime that he would commit one day, or that they would unwittingly become accomplices in his actions. Ethan was 15 years old when on November 30th, 2021, shortly after 12:50 p.m., he exited a bathroom and immediately began firing at the students in the hallway with a 9mm Sig Sauer SP 2022 semi-automatic handgun. He ultimately killed 4 students and injured 7 others, including a teacher. As the prosecutor questioned him during the court proceedings, Crumbley remained emotionless, showing no remorse as he recounted the events.
Sir, on that date, November 30th, 2021, in Oakland County, Michigan, did you bring a 9mm Sig Sauer handgun and 50 rounds of 9mm ammunition with you to the Oxford High School?
Yes, sir.
Did you keep the gun and ammunition in your backpack with you that day?
Yes.
Is it true that approximately 12:49 p.m. on that day you entered a boys' bathroom in the Oxford High School?
Yes.
Is it true that while... Sorry, can you keep your voice up for me?
Yes, sir.
Is it true that while inside the boys' bathroom, in the stall of the bathroom, you removed the handgun from your backpack?
Yes.
Is it true that you ensured that the handgun was loaded?
Yes.
Is it true that you exited the bathroom approximately 12:51 p.m. on November the 30th, 2021?
Yes.
Is it true that when you exited the bathroom, you began shooting at students and staff members of the Oxford High School?
Yes.
Is it true that the firearm that you used on November the 30th was purchased on November the 26th, 2021 by your father, James Crumbley?
Yes.
Is it true that you asked him to buy the firearm?
Yes.
Is it true that you gave him your own money to buy the firearm?
Yes.
Is it true that you picked that gun up to buy?
Yes.
Is it true that on November the 30th, 2021, that 9mm handgun that you used in Oxford High School was not kept in a safe or locked container?
Sorry, repeat that?
Is it true on November the 30th, 2021, when you obtained the firearm, it was not kept in a locked container or a safe?
Yes, it was not locked.
Crumbly can be seen getting emotional in court as the assistant principal and Ethan's elementary school teacher testify in court, recounting the events of that day.
You actually know the defendant, correct?
I do.
Okay. And you have known him for how long?
He was a student at my elementary school, Ethan was, and he transferred in about 3rd or 4th grade. Sorry, he transferred into to Oxford Schools about 3rd or 4th grade.
Okay.
While I was giving breaths, the police had arrived, and he came out with his hands up, and he was on his knees with his hands up. And they were trying to figure out who he was. And he didn't answer them. I don't think he answered them when he said his name or they asked for his name. And so I got up from Tate to run over and say his name's Ethan. And then I ran back to Tate because I didn't want to leave Tate for too long.
Did Tate, do you think, recognize your voice? Do you have any?
I hope so. I don't know.
Lastly, he apologized to the victims, saying that he wished for them to have some peace and for them not to worry another day.
Mr. Crumbly, is there anything you would like to state before I pass sentence?
Your Honor, may he stand?
Yes, you may. Thank you. You may proceed.
I'd like to thank you for letting me speak, Your Honor. We are all here because of me today, of what I did. My actions were because of what I chose to do. I could not stop myself, but I am the one who led to why we are here today. I do not diminish any ability to anyone who could have stopped me, of anyone of a school or parents. They did not know, and I did not tell them what I planned to do, so they are not at fault of what I've done. I am a really bad person. I have done terrible things that no one should ever do. I have lied, been not trustworthy. I've hurt many people, and that's what I've done, and I'm not denying it, but that's not who I plan on to be. Whatever sentence it is, I do plan to be better than I am. I don't know if you'll believe that, but records of 15, 20, 25 years can show that I will change. Because it may not show it now with only 2 years of records, but I am trying. And all I want is for the people I hurt to just have a final sense of culpability that justice has somewhat been served in any capacity that they can recognize it with. Any sentence that they ask for, I ask that you do impose it on me, because I want them to be happy and I want them to feel secure and safe, and I do not want them to worry another day, because I really am sorry for what I've done, for what I've taken of them. I cannot give it back, but I can try my best in the future to help other people, and that is what I will do. So, thank you, Your Honor.
Lastly, let's turn our attention to Georgia, where an ongoing case has left the world speechless as a 14-year-old is being tried for a school shooting. This is 14-year-old Colt Gray, a student at Appalachia High School in Georgia, implicated in a tragic school shooting that left 2 teachers and 2 students dead at the scene. Colt was born to Gina and Colton Gray Sr., who was also arrested. Following a tumultuous separation from his mother, Colt moved in with his father, who later revealed that Colt had been facing bullying at school. Disturbingly, his father purchased the firearm used in the shooting as a Christmas gift. Before the incident, Colt was already under FBI investigation for making online threats on Discord in 2023. Family members have reported that Colt struggled with homicidal and suicidal thoughts leading up to the tragedy. The 14-year-old defendant can be seen nodding his head as the judge asks if he understands his rights.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray?
Sir.
My name's Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray, I do need to inquire as to whether you're able to read and write the English language. All right. I also want to inform you, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings? And you are in fact represented today, is that correct? And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand that you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding, and if you cannot afford to hire counsel, then this court is obligated under the Constitution to provide counsel for you without cost to you. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. You are under 18 years old, so I wanted to inform you and make it clear to you that the penalty for the crimes for which you are charged does not include death.
Even as the defendant is escorted out of the courtroom, he shows little to no emotion, raising a major question mark about his mental health.
All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out.
As you've seen in this video, the top 3 teenage school shooters facing court, these moments are extremely emotional times for the victims' families. We hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more incredible stories like this one. If you have any stories or topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.